Well, I'm going to talk about the 2-year-olds right now. The 2-year-olds here at the stable. We have some horses that have been turned out. We have some horses that have been sold. We have a couple that are still up for sale. We have a lot going on, but you should get a pretty clear picture of the surroundings and the setting by the time you're done listening to this video. Almost there, boss. Race good his last start. Race good 2 starts ago. A little bit flat the other day. They scoped with some mucus. Not all that shocking. They're going to look to clean him up and get him back in to go. Amor Diener was fantastic. Nothing short of fantastic. 2 starts ago. Did that tough trip and shipping all the way to Philadelphia. Maybe deaden him, flatten him a little bit 7 days later in Philadelphia. Maybe. But he still raced great. Trotted 57. First over for Yannick Gingras. Arches Rainbow is now out in the field for an undetermined amount of time. I'll make it as clear as I can. You know when she comes back in? When she's fat. That's when she's going to come back in. So however long it takes Sean Brisebois to fatten up her and Rosie, I suspect Rosie a little quicker than her. That's when you will see them resurface at Tomico Training Center. Betterby Sawyer, quite frankly, bled a little more than we'd like to see. There was mucus, there is irritation and pimples, but anytime you see that bleeding, that is the culmination of a lot of other things going on. The fact that they had cleaned her up, raced her, and she did it again is a problem. Long term, I don't think it'll be a problem. There's a number of ways we can treat it. Listen, we can put her on Lasix right now, but I think when her body starts saying, okay, I'm a little maxed out, she's shown enough. She's shown that she is a fast filly. Let's allow her to mature. Just because you don't see any bumps and bruises on her legs doesn't mean there isn't bumps and bruises in other places. So the filly, as I say, if the horses are talking, you better listen. I think we're going to give Betterby Sawyer some time off. Blue Bayou Dio is down here with us now. She's going to be going to Kentucky with the McDonald family on Friday afternoon to make her debut. If you're out there and you're saying, hey, I got to get a Kentucky license, yeah, I'd appreciate it if you would. We have to race next Sunday afternoon. Garden State Dio. Pay attention. Garden State Dio Group. Kentucky licenses, please. Blue Bayou Dio Group. Kentucky licenses, please. Unbeatable Kemp Group. Kentucky licenses, please. So Blue Bayou Dio, good mile the other day. They may not have raced her very hard yet, but I suspect I may cut her loose this week in Kentucky. So we'll see what Blue Bayou Dio is made of in Kentucky this week. Bomb Hugger, I think we already have a pretty good idea what Bomb Hugger is made of. Something, I'm going to say, 30% boiled owl and 70% iron. That's what she's made of. She is a tough little filly, and man, just such a treat to drive. It was funny because at the start of the stake season, I was asking my brother Mark, I got this nice filly. I think she's pretty good. Will you take her? Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk to Ray. We'll see. Virtually, if you never talk to me about her again, that'd be great. I'm really just gonna indulge you while you're on the phone, but not really think anything of it afterwards. I'm leaving Batavia with the truck and trailer and Bomb Hugger on the back, and I get a text from Mark. Yeah, you can send that filly down anytime now. Oh, really? Oh, I appreciate that, Mark. Thank you so very much. He said, but no, I'm gonna race her in Tioga, and you can have her after Tioga possibly. The reason being, she has to go to the East Coast. Yonkers and Vernon, I guess, not really different, but Yonkers, Vernon, Yonkers would be her next 3 starts. And actually, further to that, she has 3 races after that, and that's it for her for the year. New Jersey Development Fund, she's eligible to. It says it's posted, the final goes for $70,000. I'll put our little Bomb Hugger up against anybody at Freehold's half-mile track. 2-year-old filly? Yes. So, she got a really good schedule for her.
Oh, look.
Looking at what we have. What are you looking at?
Right, cars in that lane. See them?
No. So Bomb Hugger has Tioga, I believe, then Yonkers, Vernon, Yonkers, and then that's it. Yeah, the last one would be the Sire Stakes final, which she's won 2 legs. I'm assuming there's only 5 legs. She's going to get in the final. I don't think that's presumptuous. I think that's actually math. And then we probably will aim for the New Jersey Development Fund race. I think it's in September. And what else do we got? Century Invictus is raced great. I mean, I think this horse is coming to fruition. What we hoped he'd do when we saw that starting gate, we talk about it all the time. There's a lot of hope in there for us too. What's he going to be like when he sees a starting gate? I hope he puts out and races well. Well, can't ask for much more. Obviously, we could, but plenty. I'm very, very happy with Century Invictus. Confederate Cruiser has really come to life here. Jogged the other day at Oak Harbor, and I suspect you'll see a lot more of that from him as the year goes on, both at the fairs and hopefully into the Buckeyes also. Duke Dio, we'll bring him back next week. Now I'm going to bring Miss Mildred, who we still have, obviously. We're going to change hands. She's going back home to be bred next year. So Miss Mildred couldn't travel after her injury until this week. So we're going to bring Miss Mildred from Ontario, and then Schaefer Farms is going to bring Duke Dio back, and I believe we're going to send Isa 10 to their farm. A lot of hills and stuff on that property also, which I like. So Miss Mildred and Isa 10 will be going to Pennsylvania, and Duke Dio will be coming back. We're also eyeing up that same Standard Bred Development Fund race on the colt side for Duke Dio that we just talked about with Bomb Hugger. And another filly that fits there also would be Garden State Dio, for a big horse that gets around half real good. She's another horse we could potentially look at for that race. Although putting Bomb Hugger against Garden State Dio right now may seem a little lopsided. There's a lot of racing to do between now and the end of September. LSL, formerly known, or Prince Tab, formerly known as LSL, has been sold. So he has left our mix. Just a nice little horse, just not for us. Isa 10 is all done for the season. She's going out now for an extended vacation to grow up, fill out, and mature. Garden State Dio, obviously the qualifier was impressive. Then she made that frustrating break at remnants of her sister, made that break at the Meadowlands, and then came back here for a very good showing. It seemed like 2-3 weeks later. It was definitely 2-3 weeks between qualifier at Northfield and race at the Meadows. Not a ton of heavy lifting in between. So when you put her race the other day into context, she was very, very good. Grace, talk about good fillies, man. She has looked great, prepped great in a schooler on Friday, I'm told, from James and Cindy, and she drew a favorable division Wednesday at Grand River Raceway. Granite Hill is out in the field. He'll stay out for a while. I imagine we'll probably forget about him a little bit, and then he'll come back in big and fat and shiny, and we'll train him back down and see what we got with Granite. Harlanelle, now known as Hope's Reprise, is up for sale. We have not got an offer on him yet, but I suspect something will shake free this week. Again, like his attitude, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I do like his work ethic on the track. He's just hitting himself, so he's going to have to go. Harvard Yard, we sold. I simply divested our 50% back to our partner in Hold the Line stable. It's a big filly. Yeah, she likes to mature, and I don't know a lot about her, just from what I've seen on video and the one time I drove her. But again, Pennsylvania being Pennsylvania, I just don't know if that's our type of horse. Hill of Magic, I may have been disqualified the other night, and I may have deserved it. But it was a cheap call, cheap shot, and she raced fantastic. 3 very important points. She was infinitely better than she'd been. You could take a look. If you threw out all her other races, except her qualifier in 2 minutes, and you watch that race the other night, like, this could be a really good filly. Now, we changed a number of things on Hill of Magic between her abysmal race at Northfield and her good race the other night. And we've made a couple more changes since then. She's drawn into a straight maiden on Wednesday, which I don't know about the timing, but nevertheless, she drew in Wednesday, and what happens after that, we'll go from there. But can't really fault her. She looked very good and was charging at the wire. That was my thing that I hated. From all her races I drove her, I didn't see her finish up strong. And it's not that she finished up strong. I need to see you doing something. If there's a horse there, at least try to fool me into thinking you're trying to pass it. She did the other night. She was charging at the wire, and to the point where Chris Page was on the inside, I was on the outside. He thought I beat him for a second. She raced great. Yes. So, Hill of Magic, I think a real page turner in her life the other day. I was actually pleased and impressed with her mile and her gait. Go back and watch the video. She has got some kind of beautiful gait, this filly. Kathy with an Eye is starting to look big. I saw pictures of her. She'll be coming back in the fall with the other horses. This is a filly. Were her lungs compromised from pneumonia? I don't know. And no one knows but her. And no one will know until we push her much later on. But for now, optically, she looks fantastic. Luck of the Dragon looked good. Got a couple of deuces now in his 2 fair races. Bookended by 6th or 7th or 8th in the Buckeye. But he's just the type of horse you can't take him back to last. He's just not going to put out. And he didn't. So,
Ollie,
yeah.
look out the window.
Look at all the sports cars, Ollie, going by here. Yeah.
You're probably doing the fastest.
Let's see.
Look at it.
Matt's envy. I know. Massive Ava, I know. Massive Profit looked great. His first start winning easily in. Oh my God, they're noisy too. These guys are speeding.
They were going like the speed limit back there.
They're very noisy too. And
That one's a wannabe. That was just a BMW.
no, that's a nice one. Anyway, they're gone now. 0.8 miles, honey.
Catch them, Chloe? No.
We're driving a car that cannot catch those cars. So, Massive Profit looked great in his first start, but then kind of got shuffled back in his second start. He got shuffled back, and then in his third start, a beaten fair and square horse. Really thought he should have finished off his work, but he's always been a little green in that regard. So I'm really not that worried. We'll see how he bounces back next week. Of Tom, 3rd and 58, actually raced very, very good the other day. We're going to let her drop down, slide down in class a little bit, see if we can't spark her up. It's not that she's dead or dopey, but that's a filly I don't want to feel as if she doesn't want to race in any way. I want her to come forward in a big way, and I think she will. Of Thomas, and I've said this all along. The more muscle she packs on, the faster she'll go. Simple as that. And she'll pack more muscle on beating up on some horses. Somehow, they always seem to pack on more muscle winning races than they do get beat up on. 1-2 Skip a Few raced fantastic the other day. This is a filly maybe to keep your eye on. She's still trying to put it all together, but man, along the way, she's awful fun to race. Peanut Butter and Jelly, another one we turned out for the season to grow up, let fill out. I think it's pretty easy. Why? Now, the next horse, Prairie Fire, is a bit of an enigma still. Still, I wish I could answer what had happened to this horse. Under ultrasound, there is something there. I can't really say what. Clearly a bruise or an irritation, and something had happened, a hematoma. I got to be careful what I say, because anytime you're dealing with hind legs and bruises and whatnot in horses, it's a real painful spot. But if I had any issues with what went on with Prairie Fire, I would bring them to our clients. The issue at hand is, here's a colt that was always on the right line. Yes, he showed some heat in his left hind leg and it blew up. Probably headed it off at the pass, whatever was going on there, didn't get a chance to quite develop. So a good job by Shelby, the caretaker of Prairie Fire, and the vet for picking that up right away. I guess the question is, what is exactly going on with the left hind leg? How long will it take to cool that out, clean it up, and fill it in properly? And then also, moreover, why was he on the right line? That's the left hind leg. You're not getting on the right line because of that. So what was the right front? What was in the right side that caused him to take so much pressure on the left side? You know, I don't know if I'm sold now on the case that he got cast or he kicked the wall. I think something was maybe brewing there. So it's good that we headed it off at the pass. This is a horse that needed weight and did have something bother him on the right side. So the time off certainly isn't going to bother him. We're still going to put him on an undetermined amount of time off. At worst, he'll start swimming this week. Need to keep his cardio up anyway. Procrastinator looked good the other night. Yeah, I got caught with my pants down, I guess. I made the move that I thought was the right one, and I think going back and looking at the race over and over and over again, trying to put it in a real-time format, there's no possible way I couldn't have moved the horse there. From what I felt sitting behind him and what I saw in front of me, I felt we made the right move, and I'll stand beside that. You can look at the race afterwards and say, well, clearly you didn't. The horse that you went by come back on and beat you. Yep, you're right. But from what I saw down the backstretch, horse first over, which was the favorite, looked like he was very, very susceptible. He looked like he was backing up. The horse on the front hit the earplugs out, looked like he was done. You know, I couldn't wait much longer than I did. The guy behind me is still breathing down my neck. Somebody's going to pull the trigger at some point. I don't feel that there was another way to go about doing that. Yes, it was embarrassing. You never want to go buy a horse down the backstretch and have him come back on and beat you. That's a no-no. You don't want to have that happen. But at the same time, the horse showed some real pop when I moved him, and then for him to accelerate in the last turn, not touch his knee and finish off, I think he'll probably have a real good mile for Brett Miller this week. What's wrong? Oh, she's sleeping. This week, Purple Aura raced huge from... What's wrong? You okay? You okay? You okay? What do you need? What do you want? Where's her CC at, Ave?
It's probably her seat.
Okay, so she's probably on her side. Will you get it for her? Purple Aura raced great from the 8-hole last week. That's a tough thing to do. It just simply is. you can't just overcome the 8-hole because you want to. She blasted out of the gate, sat quietly in the 2-hole as the front end horse carved out.
Oh, here it is.
Shies? Well, I think we might have some. No, they'd be in that bag that I gave you. Should be some in there. So Purple Aura raced huge. The front end just really got everything his own way. You know, no pressure, no nothing. Mathematically, just dropped anchor until he had to sprint, and I wasn't going to outsprint him. So Purple Aura raced about as good as she possibly could. Renegade Gypsy qualified without hobbles on. Addie, just relax, sweetheart. What do you say? Uh-oh. Having a little tantrum. Hey, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Can you give her whatever you need there, Ava? Give her her tablet or whatever on the floor. Right there, just give her that one, that was yours. Okay, just relax then. We're gonna have a hissy fit. Renegade Gypsy, as I said, qualified with no hobbles on in 58, I think, the other day, and looked very, very good doing it. Very happy with him. Resolute Bay is racing this week again in the grassroots. I believe it's a grassroots. Johnny said he wanted to give him a week off in between. Johnny understands also this colt's a nice colt, but he's going to come around in his own time, right? When you look at him beside other horses, he does look a little more frail. He does look a little bit smaller, so he's going to have to put that muscle on. I was happy with his first race, first and second race, and I suspect I'll be happy with his third also. Rose Above It has been racing good, fourth in that torrential downpour in Philadelphia the other day. I think this is the type of horse where you got to leave with him, sit in, and he'll finish up good. You know, he kind of get jammed up a couple of times in the mile the other day. He's not a killer. He's a pretty nice little colt, and he's certainly a nice horse to drive. So not only do I suspect he'll have a good end to the season, also, I think it'd be fun to drive right into his 3-year-old season. I like Rose Above It. He's well-bred, and I think you're going to see, I don't think you've seen even remotely close to the best Rose Above It yet. I think you'll see that much later on. Rosie's Masterpiece out in the field with Arches Rainbow, and they're out playing, putting on some weight and just relaxing. We'll bring them back at some point in the near future. Slim Jimmy, you know, there's a horse we didn't talk about a lot this week because he didn't get to race, but he certainly turned a lot of heads in the state of Ohio last year. It would not be hard to say he is one of the best horses in Ohio. The horse of Per Engblom's looked great. The number of the horses looked great. Slim Jimmy just looked impressive on a track that was not impressive last week. So Slim Jimmy, he's in to go this week. I saw the thing. I'm Gone Away. I think Luke Ebersol will drive him. He drove him in his qualifier. He's just a very, very nice horse. Stonebridge Dolce, Amy is going to take. She's so pumped. She's going to take Stonebridge Dolce and 3 Point Blue Chip over to school at the Meadows on Tuesday. I'm Gone Away. So that should be a lot of fun. Stonebridge Dolce, they said, trained good the other day. So here's the thing about Stonebridge Dolce. She hasn't quite got it speed-wise just yet, but she has open-toed shoes up front, and I think we need to spin those around. I don't know the proper time to do it. It's not going to be before Tuesday. I guess Hunter Myers will probably school the horse Tuesday morning for us. I'm interested to see. I'd like to see her go mile 2-1 or 2-2, but she's the type of filly where, you know, you put her right on the gate, leave, sit, follow, and then she'll attack a bit down the lane. I'm very impressed. I'm very interested to see what she's going to do on Tuesday. Stonebridge Ducati is still in the stall, I believe, for another week, and then he goes out to the field. He might go to the pool first and then go to the field. Sweet on Pete, we talked about her in the opening. Just an incredibly nice filly. I think this filly is one that you're going to see ascend the classes in the coming weeks. 3 Point Blue Chip, I just told you, is going to school in Pennsylvania. I'm not really in a rush with this horse. I know that I told you guys, you know, we hope to have him ready for the Champlain or the Wellwood, but he has to be good enough right now also. Physically, mentally, maturity-wise, he has to be good enough to go to those. I'm not just going to qualify him and say, oh, going to send him to the Wellwood. No, we're going to put him where he belongs, and we're going to qualify him when he needs to qualify. He's been ready for quite a while, just chipping away, trying to turn a raw piece of clay into a good horse. It's not something easy to do. I like the way his attitude has changed for the good. I like the way his work ethic has changed for the good. Now I'd like to see him go. He's been behind the gate before, so I'd like to see him. I'd like to get the reports from him. I can't be there Tuesday. Again, we'll get Hunter Myers to go with him in Pennsylvania. Taiwan on. Hunter Myers went with Hunter Myers went with Taiwan on the other day. He's going to get a good look at her again on Thursday in the Arden Stakes. This will be a good prep. We'll find out what she's made of. Although I think we suspect we find out what she's made of already with that 56-3 win with the earplugs in. I'm interested to see what's going to take place at the Arden on Thursday. So good luck to our clients and Hunter with Taiwan on. Tioga Sunshine, everybody's asking how is she, when she's starting again. So I'm going to tell you right now, she is qualifying Tuesday at Mohawk. That will be 1 week before her first lifetime start, which will be the second grassroots. So we'll qualify her Tuesday. Probably, I imagine Harry will train her up again Friday, and then she'll be ready to go Saturday, or ready to go Tuesday. I don't have the date in front of me, but Tuesday in Georgian Downs. Twinbee Habanero is over here now. I don't think I'm going to get a chance to go with him before I go away and come back and go away again. Maybe I'll go with him tomorrow morning and see how he feels, but he's been in 2-4, 2-3, 2-5, something like that. It really doesn't matter. It's how he's doing it. He made a break in his last training trip at Mohawk, so I want to see what's going on with this horse here in the coming weeks. Twinkle in her eye scoped a little sick the other day. A couple of things going on with this filly. They said she scoped a little sick, and I was also told they thought they need to work on her feet, maybe put a set of razor pads on. So they've been put on. So that's check one for the first issue. As far as cleaning her up, that really shouldn't be that hard. Yes, there was some mucus and pimples and redness, but not an acute amount, not a ton of it, especially knowing that she raced so good the week before at Georgian Downs. So I think you'll see a much better race from Twinkle in her eye this coming week. You got to believe, I think he was slipping the other day. I looked at his shoes after. The corks were too small, the track was too deep. I think this is a horse that, one, we're going to maybe lighten him up front and put a little more grab on him, and I think you'll see a much better horse. Now, he's going to the fair, I believe, Tuesday. Again, I won't be here. The fair Tuesday is the only horse heading out to, what fair is it? We're eligible to so many fairs. I don't even know what fair. Paynesville, you're right. Paynesville is where he's going on Tuesday. Unbeatable Kemp will be going to Lexington. Going to school him Tuesday. So he'll be schooled Tuesday at the Meadows, and then we'll take him to Kentucky shortly thereafter. Voyage of Ice and Fire is going to race Friday in the fair race at Northfield Park. So home base for him. We cryoed that curb that was clearly bothering him. We're going to work on his health, get him up, and get him in a much cheaper division. We're going to get him in the fair. Now, there will be some Buckeye horses using that Northfield track, that fair at Northfield Park, as a prep race heading in easy. So it might not be easy. It's not shooting fish in a barrel, I can tell you that, but I think Voyage of Ice and Fire is long overdue to start looking good, which he should do. Will to Win Hanover, I haven't got reports from her. She needs to get x-rayed this week, I think. Just one sec. She needs to get x-rayed this week. I suspect that foot's all healed up. At that point, maybe small paddock, medium paddock, large paddock. Probably not going to see a harness on her for another 60 days or so, or more. And World for Two, I don't think he raced last week, did he? I missed him. He didn't race, but he'll be in this week. Again, a lot of people saying, can he go here, can he go here? He's not going anywhere. He's going to race there. I'm going to say we're going to give him 6 or 7 starts as a 2-year-old and then kick him out and let him grow up. Also, 2-year-old year is really just to try and take a look and see what we have, and then hope that he matures into the horse we extrapolate, sprinkle on a few little dreams and some hope, and what you're left with is what we hope to see as a sophomore. But he'll only race probably 6 or 7 times, and we'll kick him out in the coming months. So that is all the 2-year-olds. I hope you guys are up to date, and now you know everything I know, but all the horses that we have in our barn, where they are, where they aren't, what they're doing, what they're not, most importantly, where we see them in the future. So I'll be back. We're going to talk about the 3-year-old, talk about all the barns. Be back in just a minute.